Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Guess what? We're back in the bedroom. I'm not really sure what you caught from last night, so let me turn you around. Jimmy brought in the TV because we had company. We need to get out of the kitchen. He moved a nightstand with some of his stuff on it. There's the floor tiles, the headboards against the closet doors, which he rehung. We have ripped up, or he has ripped up that much flooring, and we have all of that left to do. So it's over half. Once we lay this tile, we'll have the room half done, or over half done actually. So that's pretty exciting stuff. He's starting to get the groove of it, so he's going much faster each time, which I'm excited and proud of him for. We did seem to misplace the 5-in-1 tool, which was bizarre. Like, we didn't go anywhere with it, so where could it be? Type of thing. So he has been making it work with other different tools, so that's good. At least he's gotten what he needs to do. So I want to show you really quick what he did. Or if you're doing vinyl peel and stick and you have to stop midday, or like we're doing in sections, he's put a strip of packing tape down. I don't recommend packing tape because the adhesive is quite strong. I actually would have preferred painter's tape or masking tape, but we didn't have any, and when he went to the store they were like out or something, I'm not sure. So we have this. When you go to peel it off, peel it really carefully back onto itself. Jim, do you remember how to do that when we do like peeling it back on itself?
No.
Okay, so basically lay the piece of tape you're taking off just as flat as down on the ground.
Yeah.
Okay, and peel back. Any print coming? Any picture coming? Okay, be careful when you get to seams too. You don't, see now that's what you're lifting up, and you need to lift flat. There you go. Or else you have risk pulling a tile up. Okay, so that's just a hint, because even the edges can have their adhesive, can be sticky glue. So you want to protect that edge from getting anything that you're working on in there. Like as he was pulling up the extra carpet, there was debris, and we didn't want to have the debris go there. So that's just a tip. Another tip from me to you: if you can't lay it all in one fell swoop, and you can't lay it all in the right way, which is pulling everything out of the room, pulling up the old floor, cleaning up, and then laying down the new floor. If you have to do it in sections, this is a great tip. If you have to do it over a couple of days, this is also a great tip. Okay, so here we go. Well, I finally talked Jim into letting me help. So I said to him, if I could peel the tiles and hand them to you peeled, then maybe this would go a lot faster. And lo and behold, it absolutely did. This second portion of the floor, which is technically the 2/3, we were able to do in as much time as it took him to do the first third itself. So I know his skills got better, so his confidence is getting better. He's also knowing what to do, which is making it go faster as well. But we were able to wrap this up in the rest of the day. I was able to pick out the tile, figure out which one would fit better in the pattern, and then we would do the cuts. He would do the cuts, and then we would figure out what we were going to do with the leftover piece, whether we were going to start the next row or leave it for a couple of rows. We're able to do that in no time. Now, if this is your first video of mine that you're watching, hi, my name's Jeri-Ann. That's my husband, Jim. I have limited mobilities plus an injury. Jim is just basically the busiest worker, but I have like all of the basic training. So he is this is his first time laying a vinyl tile floor. I have laid dozens and dozens in my life, and we're basically just trying to teach you guys what we know and trying to teach Jim at the same time so he can build up his skills and confidence. Okay, that being said, we are having to do this room in sections. Normally, you would remove everything from the floor, from the room, every old flooring from the floor, clean up the whole area, and then lay the tile down in 1 or 2 days, whatever, depending on the size of your room and your skill level. Now, we are basically not able to do that because of the lack of storage space in our home, the time sensitivity that we have, as well as just like our old lady and old man bodies wearing out on us. Now, I say that in jest. Jim just says he feels like he's a lot older than he actually is, but it seems like that sometimes. So, what you basically just missed there is he is marking the board by using the square from the dollar. This happens to be the square from the Dollar Tree, and he is lining it up with the edge of the tile and putting it on the mark where he has to cut. He's using that metal ruler to make a cut. If you've never cut a vinyl tile before, you basically want to score through the top layer of vinyl 1 or 2 times, and then it snaps very neatly, very easily, as long as you can get through the top couple of layers of vinyl. Okay. Then you just have to be mindful of where you put your cut end. We're keeping our cut ends tucked under the molding, so we don't have to worry about them being as precise. Obviously, we're not factories, so we won't make them as precise as the factory edge. And one of the things that we're doing, again, if this is your first video, is we're making sure that the patterns aren't next to each other to try to avoid it looking more artificial as it technically is. To make it look more realistic wood, you want to basically stagger your tiles of the different looks and stuff. So you want to mix it up, basically. Okay, I do love these tiles. They came pre-mixed in the box already, so you don't have to worry about mixing yourself. But just being sure to, if I pull them out of order or something, I'm making sure that I don't put them on in any particular order. That will make it look fake. I love the the various colors. Forgive me. I love the variegated color. I love the realistic texture, and at $1 a square foot, you really can't go wrong. The tiles are from Lowe's. I got them on sale. They were, I think, originally $1.99 or $1.67 a square foot. I cannot exactly remember, so forgive me, but I will try to remember to put a link to them in the description box down below in case you actually really love this tile. This is not a sponsored vlog. Okay, so what Jim's doing, okay, just to show you one more time, for the cheap seats, he's tucking the tile under our molding. We're keeping our tile tucked under the molding. He's using his Dollar Tree square to line up with the previous end of the end of the previous tile, and he is marking it. He is cutting them a tiny bit short by about 1/4 of an inch, just so that it has room to grow. Sometimes heat can expand and contract flooring, so really you don't want to give vinyl too much room to move because they can spread on you, but you want to be able to make sure that they don't pop on you either. We have a wide variety of weather here in Missouri. We can get as cold as feels like -degrees, and we can get as hot as over 100. So we want to make sure that we have room for shrinkage and growth. Okay. We have previously pulled up carpet in this room, and there is quite a good space underneath that baseboard molding that we're working with. If you don't have that, then you want to be able to put your cut edge up against your baseboard molding. And that is the tip that I have for you. If you don't cut really great, or if you don't like the way that looks, you can always add a quarter round molding, which is relatively inexpensive, to cover the floor, and you tack that into your baseboard. We may do that. It may come up in the future in another video, but for right now, just because money wise, we're just going to probably skip that step. But we do like the way it looks when we got our kitchen floor done, so we may go ahead and do that someday. Okay. So what he basically did was just took a scrap piece that we had from a previous couple of rows and started that next row with that 6-inch piece. What we like to do about that is, because we want to keep the seam basically not lined up, we want to stagger the edges, which again gives it more of a realistic look, but also makes it sturdier. If all of your seams were in the same place, not only would you notice if they weren't lined up, but they also don't give the stability. If this was actually a hardwood floor and you put all of your seams together, it wouldn't be as strong as it would be if you stagger them. That's pretty much all that is. Okay. Now, in previous videos, we talked about how to make cuts and line up different ways. And let's see, we did scoring, coping, not scoring, scribing, excuse me, and coping. If you have like a molding, you have to go around. You basically use a scribe, which is like a compass, where you just run it along the edge of your shaped molding and then you can cut it out for that. If you are using hardwood floor, you have to cut it with a saw. If you're using this, you can cut it with an X-Acto knife, a carpenter's knife, which is what Jim's using, or we can even cut it with a kitchen shear or a vinyl scissor, a vinyl cutting scissor. Okay. So this kind of seems like repetitive and boring, but it's not really, because I feel like it's exciting to see like a start to finish project. Do you guys like that? I do. I personally do. I like to see when someone has hiccups, which basically I'm grateful that we didn't really have any hiccups. Very grateful. We do have one cutout that will show you, I'm going to say tomorrow or later in this video, where we cut out for the coaxial cable that comes out of the floor, which we no longer use, but we didn't want to remove it in case we do sell the house someday and they want their coaxial cable to come out of the floor. I'm just saying. So, I know, silly, right? But also to show you guys how to do that. I mentioned this floor on Lowe's.com they give you a calculator to figure out how many tiles you would need. I always recommend getting a little overage for mistakes, but we actually ended up only having 2 boards left over, which actually worked out pretty good. We had very, very little waste, which I'm really, really happy about as well. Okay, it's a good floor. I just have to tell you, it's a good floor. I love the way it feels on my feet, and I love the way it looks as well. Now, our subfloor happens to be sort of like this cement board, almost like, it reminds me a lot of like cement backer board that you put behind bathroom tiles. It's kind of like cool at the same time. Like, it's a product that I've never really worked with before. And I love the way that it's just nice and level. We had very, very little problems with it. We have a couple of spots towards the end of the project that we had to work around, but other than that, we really didn't have any problems with it, thank God. So, as I mentioned, we had very little scrap because we've tried to use every piece that we possibly could. As you can see, that this piece was almost a perfect fit, so Jim went ahead and just cut a little bit off of it just to basically make it work. Now, if you cut it too small or something, you can always just use that in another row. Like I said, there is no pattern to this. The pattern is actually lack of pattern, if that makes any sense. As staggered and as I don't know, unique of the levels as you can get them is really the best way to go. What he's doing is he's tucking it under the cut edge, under the molding, and then making sure that the 2 edges match up squarely with the other tiles. He has done a fantastic job for his first job. He takes the time, he has the patience, and he was finally accepting of help, which made the process go so much faster. So we talked about in yesterday's video, how it's important to clean as you go, because vinyl tile does not like crumbs, dust, sawdust, wood, chips, any of that stuff. It really will prevent good adhesion. So we want to make sure that it's clean and dust free as possible. So Jim has this little dustpan that I actually got at the Dollar Tree. It comes with a little broom and a dustpan, and it actually works perfect for this project because you can really get up into close to the tile and make sure that there's no debris there at all. Okay. Now, normally if you clean the whole area, you probably won't have to go over each section, but because of our situation, we want to make sure that as we move around the room, we don't kick up any dust that's left over from the old carpet. Okay. Now, we are laying this floor. This video was shot on, I want to say, Tuesday. The days are all blending together, folks. I feel like this video was shot on Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Regardless, this was 2 or 3 days ago, and we are still in the process of moving everything in. We're waiting for our mattress. We have a mattress update if you are interested. I finally spoke to another representative at QVC today, and she said, I'm going to go ahead and reorder you a mattress. It should be there by the 14th of July. So in the meantime, we have made other arrangements for sleeping. Now, we will do the coaxial cable tomorrow. I just see that how far away it is from where he is now. And I will show you that right here he actually ended up making an error where he cut the tile a little short. We had to just use a different tile, which was fine. We just saved that piece, don't throw it out, and you can just start another row with it later. Okay? Pretty much what we got. Now, one of the biggest pieces of advice I gave him that I'm going to give you is you want to dry fit your tiles. If you forget to dry fit your tile, don't press it down as you fit it. Press it down after you make sure it's fitted. And I say that because if something happens, God forbid, you put it down and say you didn't like the pattern or if it was laid down crooked, if you haven't pressed on it, it usually will come right back up again. Now, if you have to peel up a tile again, flip it over, make sure that there is no big debris. You didn't pick up any paint chips that you didn't see, any dust that you didn't see. You could just scrape them off and you can use the tile again. What we did is if we had to take a tile and save it for another time, we just stuck it back on a piece of that blue paper and we just saved it until we were ready to use it again. Okay? Just another tip. Now, Jim was very happy to start working on the vinyl section of the floor because he slides much easier on the vinyl part of the floor than he does on the white floor, which really made it go even that much faster. And since I'm in an office chair, I'm able to wheel back and forth to help him out. And I peel the tiles and hand them to him, and it works out really well. We started to get into a groove, and we made it go by very quickly. Now, I mentioned it before, one of the things that I'm doing as I go is I'm making sure that we don't have two tiles that have the same patterns on them next to each other. But again, if you have an area in your home, like technically where he is laying this floor right now is going to be under our bed, and we really didn't have to worry about that, but we're looking at this room like it's a whole room, and in the future we may have the bed in a different place, or the next people who buy this home may want to put some other furniture in this place. Maybe they want to make it an office space or something along those lines. So we wanted to make sure that we have the floor laid as professionally, and I'm using air quotes by you, as possible. Okay? So this is the last piece we're going to lay for just now, and I'm going to show you how we're going to tape that edge that we talked about in the beginning of the video about removing the tape. I'm going to show you how we're going to tape up an edge. Now, when we tape up the edge, we want to really make it stick to the subfloor, but we want to slightly stick it to the tile, because if we stick it too hard to the tile, we risk pulling tile up, as I mentioned in the beginning. But really, it's just to protect the rest of the floor. So tomorrow will be the finale of laying the floor. We'll obviously have more room stuff coming, but as far as the floor is concerned, tomorrow is it. We're going to finish. It's going to look beautiful because I tell you what, it is beautiful already. We have so much, we have so much love. We have so much hope for it being done and living like the life in the space that we truly do want. So we're excited for that. And we're so glad you guys want to come on this journey with us. We really are. So what Jim has is just some 3M packing tape. It's not heavy duty. It's not like super strong. It's just regular 3M packing tape. And again, he's going to press it really firm to the subfloor and very gently onto the tile. And he's going to make one continuous piece, if possible, the whole way. If you don't make one continuous piece, that's okay. Just be mindful of where your seams are when you go to move your stuff, okay? Now, we're not only going to be ripping up that carpet, but we're going to move pieces of furniture over this particular seam. So there's something else you want to be mindful of, that just like when you're moving furniture over a threshold or dragging furniture over a threshold, you want to make sure that you kind of lift your furniture over the seam so you don't accidentally pull up your tile while you're moving your furniture. Now, most people, again, won't have this issue. You'll have your furniture already moved out of the room, but the possibilities are really endless when you consider that you can work in sections if need be. Okay? So now this is my dresser, Jim. I was living out of it technically. Like, he had moved all his furniture his clothes from his dresser because he's getting a new one, but mine I was just still working with, and we were using my dresser as the only dresser top for the time being as well. So he's basically taking everything off and we're putting it in a box so that I could go through it. I can downsize, I can clean, all of the things that have to get done will be happening out on the kitchen table. I'm not going to share that process with you because I ended up just downsizing just a handful of things, but a lot of it and I cleaned it all, and then a lot of things I've actually put out feelers for people in my family to see if they want. But then when I know the answer to that, we'll figure out what we have to downsize, okay? The 3 essential room things that we usually keep on my dresser is our basket full of medicine that we fill every week, as well as the water vaporizer that we have in our room to keep some moisture in there, and the Dyson air purifier or the other air purifier are usually on my dresser, but they are currently in other rooms. When the water purifier he just moved, but the Dyson is currently in another room. Now, the benefit about doing your room in a third and a 2/3 and a third and a third is that you can go ahead and have a place to put your things while you're moving them. It does make it a little bit more work because you have to have your hands on something twice, but it's really there and you can see it and you don't have to move it far, far away. The other piece of furniture we didn't deal with is my nightstand, because basically we needed to move everything out of the right side of the room first, as you saw. So that's why that's still there with all of its glory. Okay. Now we're going to move my dresser. We have moved furniture in and out of this room in the past. You guys have seen it before. We like to just use regular fleece blankets. They're very inexpensive. Usually you can get them for like as little as $2.50 at holidays time, especially. Sometimes you get like them 2 for $1, which is $2.50, 2 for $5, excuse me, which is $2.50. But this one's a little bit better quality. I think it was $5, but still it's much cheaper than a moving blanket. They slide really nice on all different types of floors, including carpet. Not as nice as they obviously go on hardwood floors or vinyl floors, but they do very well on carpet as well. Now, these drawers don't come out of this dresser, which I will tell you, I love this dresser. It was left here by the previous owner, and it is really beautiful. But if I was going to buy it, I would be like, nope, deal breaker, can't get the drawers out. Because it is really good piece of furniture. It's nice solid wood, and it's really heavy. We take the drawers out of the furniture when we move it because it makes it much lighter, but obviously they don't come out of this one, so we're just stuck with it. So I'm basically going to help. I'm going to be the walker, and he's going to be the pusher and the gatherer of the blankets, and we're going to do it like a team. We do it like a team, and it really works really well for us. Now, if you've not seen us move a piece of furniture previously, here's what we do. We basically take the throw blanket, we put it over the transitional space, bunch up as much as we can next to the piece of furniture, scooch it on as best we can, tilt it in one direction to push the blanket under it, slide it, tilt it in the other direction to spread the blanket out, and put your hiney into it. That's what we say. And then once we get it fully on the blanket, it's very helpful if one person can do this bending over. Jim is really just guiding the piece of furniture while I push. He's guiding it over the threshold, or in this case, over the new tile. While I push, he's just going to give it some direction. He's also going to basically point it in the direction we're going. This dresser has to move 180 degrees because it's going against the wall that you see there on the right side of your screen. So we're going to have to turn it around, but it will turn around so easy on the hardwood floor, on the the already done vinyl floor. However, we never moved the camera, so you guys don't see it. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this particular video. Remember, tomorrow is the finale, so I can't wait to share it with you. And as always, you take care. God bless. We'll see you next time. Bye.